So I just watched the 8th episode of the 5th and final season of Star Trek Lower Decks. The episode is called Upper Decks. So continuing the tradition of the 8th episode of each season, this breaks from the normal pattern of how the episodes are laid out. Okay, they did that also earlier on in the episode with the Klingon episode. They broke a little bit, but still was kind of their normal shtick and all that. But this one broke with it because we don't follow the lower deckers at all. Well, we do get two scenes with them at the beginning and at the end. Instead, basically, we get to see what the bridge crew, the senior officers, the upper decks do throughout the regular day. That's what we get to see and everything that goes on during all of it. So, this episode probably should have aired over months ago because of Halloween, because our lower deckers, they're carving pumpkins, on the day off. And of course, they have this is clearly, intended to be humorous, but the method like, yeah, around here we're the actors, us lower deckers, we do all the things, while the bridge crew, the senior officers, they just do boring paperwork. And then we get to see what the captain and the rest of the bridge officers' day is like. So the captain has to, do a bunch of stuff, attend meetings. Well, it starts with a morning briefing, of course, but actually not really any meetings, just a lot of, show her face around the crew. And then, of course, her plot line, her storyline actually has a really good ending, and I want to save that for the end of the episode. Yeah, because it's at the end of the episode. But, so, Shaxs has to leave the meeting early because his demons from the Cardassian application resurface and he has to meditate to confront them. And then actually at the end he does, and he also, because there's some alien invaders involved, while meditating he takes down a bunch of alien invaders, not even realizing it. And then at the end when the council mentioned that therapy would give him even more tools to combat his demons, he's like, when do we start? And then that connects up to the end of Dr. Tiana's arc as well, because apparently the captain has received some complaints about her pain management because she has a very high pain tolerance, and therefore she doesn't keep stock of pain meds and other things to help people deal with pain. Well, anyhow, she gets, I'm guessing, one of her nurses to basically experiment on her, testing her pain tolerance to try to find the limit of it because, she's a pain addict, I think. Which kind of fits nicely with, some of the other episodes. Like, there's the one episode where her and Shaxs in the holodeck, and clearly they're doing, role play, but, she wants to do all the violent stuff, and he wants to talk about their feelings. Connects back nicely to that episode. Well, anyhow, and then literally during the fight with the alien invaders, guess what? She gets shot point blank with a kill shot, and she just basically shrugs it off because of all the experiments she's been doing for pain tolerance. But going back to the end of the episode, when Shaxs gets excited about a new message to combat his inner demons, he accidentally, causes, he slams his fist down on the table in excitement, and that spills some hot, I think chowder might have been soup, on Dr. Tiana, and she's like, yeah, I'll go get some more pain meds, because apparently that was the limit of her pain. Hot food being spilled on her. So we found that out. Meanwhile, Ransom is overseeing a group from, I think, Beta Shift and Delta Shift, and who are basically herding some space cows. They have an actual name and all that, but they're herding space cows. And he seems like he's being ineffective, but he claims that he's just putting on that act so that way they hate him, so they band together against him to prove him wrong, basically, or something along those lines. So one of them did notice him adding that bit to his log, and yeah. And then she leaves saying that, yeah, everyone thinks you're such a doofus, nobody will believe me anyway. But I do want to say, that was fun. That also, the scientists who are studying those space cows, they're not really space cows, I forget what they're actually called, but that's what Ransom calls them, so I'm sticking with it, was actually a agent of the alien invaders because they wanted to harvest those space cows' natural cloaking abilities for their own thing because they are basically tired of being ignored. Then why are you wanting cloaking? that makes it easier for people to ignore you. I'm just saying. And then one last thing about the Space Cows, though, when they release them out of the Cerritos, they put ear tags on them like that people do with cows or bison and other creatures that live in the wild for tracking purposes to monitor populations and all that. I thought that was a great, fun little reference right there. And then what is Billups doing? Well, a different ensign. It's the first time I've seen her. I forget her name. I gotta make sure I write down these names. Anyhow, she discovers that there's a safety thing or a hazard warning, and basically apparently we learned all the jury rigging that he's done in engineering, and it's just now in a cascade affair that him and his ensign have to complete. Well, he sends everyone else out, and she only has to complete them with him because she's the one who pointed out and he's like, this is going to be a great learning experience for you. And yeah, and it goes. And then at the end, well, a cadet walks up and says that he noticed another hazard light blinking. He's like, okay, time to do it again. And it says after having a near-death experience because of the exact same thing. And where does that leave the captain? Well, her plot has intersected, and because she remembered one thing that these alien invaders, I forget their name, but they can't take a compliment. So she starts complimenting them and they run away because they can't take it. And then it ends, she has one more meeting on her schedule, but she decides, no, I really don't want to do it. She wants her time for herself, and we learn that it's her and her husband, the Admiral Freeman's anniversary. And of course, I forget his name, but he's definitely portrayed as, I think, basically the person who actually does probably all the actual paperwork on the ship. And he says she has one more meeting in the holodeck, and it's revealed that he, a month in advance, got in contact with Admiral Freeman so that way they could spend their anniversary together on the holodeck with a nice romantic dinner and date. He planned that a month in advance and put it in Captain Freeman's schedule so that way nothing else could interrupt her from that, except for her wanting to take a break from her schedule. Now, she was hoping she would just be able to have a nice long chat with Admiral Freeman, her husband, but instead they got something much better, all because the person who probably does all the work on the ship, or at least all the paperwork, planned ahead. And then we go to our last scene, which is with our main lower decks again, and basically they'll, just like, yep, they had a good day off, which they probably did need. Everyone in Starfleet needs a couple good days off a week. Not a month, a week, because of all the crazy stuff that they get into. But anyhow, they mentioned that both, I think Tendi and Boimler mentioned that they saw her father on the ship with her mother. And she doesn't, believe, and like they apparently missed the alien incursion and all that. And like Mariner doesn't believe like her father's there. Would have been nice if, because she probably would want to see her father spend probably a couple months or days in Earth. I'm not sure. All the crazy stuff has happened. It seems like such a short time frame for lower decks. But the point being is, and then of course, Tallinn gets in on it with a bit of a humor thing that she saw both, Captain Freeman and Admiral Freeman be sucked into a painting. Not really, but Mariner then gets excited because that goes back to at the beginning of the episode how Mariner had just got back from an away mission where she gets sucked into a painting. So you can kind of see why that would have sparked her interest. And it's proving this. Tallinn does know how to tell a joke. And because she tells it so flatly, you can never tell if she's joking or not because she has the ultimate poker face. And that's where the episode ends. There's a lot of other stuff too, such as what's her name? Ensign Barnes apparently had been mutated in such a way that she both evolved and devolved at the same time. She still, it doesn't affect her sousaphone planning, but she still has, a little bit of reaction with fire because of that mutation stuff going on. Go figure, crazy. I mean, it is just crazy though, but ends up being well because she uses her sousaphone to fight the alien invaders. Again, her sousaphone performance was one of those attended by Captain Freeman, And there was another ensign's performance that Captain Freeman attended. Literally, her and the other, and only two people were in attendance. Her and the person who I think does all the actual paperwork on the ship. Only two people in attendance for the other one, who might have been actually the nurse that helped them, Dr. Tiana. Man, he's multitasking. And then let's see, there was one other thing. Oh yeah, apparently another crewman's giving birth has in the holodeck fertility something, and Freeman didn't even realize he was a human. Yeah, he looked human until the thing started coming out of his gut. I mean, just crazy stuff. And instead of it's a boy or it's girl type balloon, it says it's a life form. Makes me wonder about that person's species. I really do wonder. Sounds weird and exotic and alien, which is just so perfect for Star Trek. So that covers most of the events and all that. And really the point of this episode, I think, is to show that we often get so caught up in our main characters, we forget that other characters have their own adventures going on that our main characters don't see. And they kind of rip fun of that with, there's a scene where literally Boimler calls themselves the star of the show, Vase breaking the fourth wall. There's a scene where Mariner basically says that stop ruining her perception of what's actually going on, something along those lines. But essentially, that is kind of true. We often, I think, not necessarily in real life, so it could definitely happen in real life, but with TV shows, there's always those other stories going on. The Shakespeare play in Hamlet, there was I forget the name of it, but there was another play based off of it that followed two of the side characters and what they were going on. Rosen something? I forget. But that was also very much how Phineas and Ferb approached their Star Wars crossover. They didn't change anything in the main events. They just added the Phineas and Ferb characters in this crossover parody, and how they impacted the main events or something like that, but not necessarily how without necessarily destroying anything, I guess. I'm kind of losing the metaphor here, but the point being is that it's easy to see a background character and just assume, okay, the story is done, even if there's a lot more. So people who are into Star Wars like me, we probably get too obsessed with background characters. It happens a lot, and there's a lot of stories that follow background characters. Heck, Star Wars has 3 whole books just like these two following background characters in canon, and that's not even getting into the ones they had in Legends. So perhaps I'm not the best audience for that, because of Star Wars I have a very good knowledge of how background characters can have their own stories, which can be rich and intriguing as well. But I think it's definitely something that's very important to remind ourselves. In Lower Decks, we've seen all the stuff the Lower Decks actually do to get Starfleet running and all that allows it to operate. But we can't forget that the senior officers of the bridge crew do their own stuff. Though the Lower Decks do say that it's their bridge crew who doesn't do anything. Unlike the bridge crews of Kirk, Picard, Janeway. I hope they mentioned Cisco. I don't remember. But the point is that we needed to be reminded of this, and it was a great fun change of pace and all that. So that's what I got to say. I would love to hear your thoughts on this episode in the comment section down below. And as always, live long and prosper. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you always.